Hey everybody, it's Summer, here to let you know about my second capstone project, what I am calling a cubicle century. And with that, so the purpose of this project is to ensure that my office workers can no longer sneak up behind me while I'm at my desk. This project will ensure that I have the upper hand and able to detect their presence before they get to my desk. The way that my office is set up, my cubicle is at the very end of a row of five, four or five cubicles in a row, and I sit at the very end corner, but my desk and my monitor face away, so my back is to the door. And so a lot of times people just come up without me knowing, or who knows what I could have up on my screen. I don't like people looking over my shoulder. So that will be my second project. So I'm going to go over the project scope, materials needed, the schematic, sketch, some possible additions, and some references. So the inspiration behind this, we kind of went over, but what this is actually going to do is the output of this module allows for the microcontroller to measure the time it takes to travel to and from the object being whatever is moving, typically a person. And by knowing the speed of sound, I'm going to be able to determine the distance. So that's that, just to let you guys know. So here's the materials needed: an Arduino Uno or a Nano. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use yet. It depends on what my possible additions are going to be. That will determine that in the end. I'm going to use a ultrasonic sensor, also known as ultrasonic transducer. I'm going to use two LEDs for this first part. I will use 270 ohm resistors to go along with those LEDs. The 20 ohm potentiometer will help me dial in the distance. 2 NPN signal transistors, and a perforated board, because I will be soldering this project together kind of like my last one, and putting it inside a box. So I'll be using a perforated board. So here's the sketch of the circuit. With this circuit, I utilized Tinkercad, and Tinkercad only has an Uno. Even though the basic outline of what I have right now probably could be done using a Nano, but that's that. So this project, I kind of went over, it measures the time it takes for sound to originate, bounce off an object, and be received back at the point of origin, and it uses that time to calculate the distance between the object and the sensor. So the basic distance calculation is not much different from determining the distance of a storm, I guess. So counting the seconds between a lightning flash and a thunderclap, basically. Each second represents a distance of 1,125 feet, or about 0.2 miles, given that sound travels at 1,125 feet per second in the air at sea level. Had to research that. That's why I know that. So basically I'm going to need to calculate distance, which is speed times time, to figure out my how I want to set it, I guess. So here is the schematic, which is a little easier to kind of see what I'm trying to explain versus the sketch. Go back here real quick. In the sketch, I want to point out that I am using the USB, and it's plugged into the 5-volt and ground in this. If that were to be a 9-volt, it would go through the plugged into the breadboard, and then it would go in through the V in. So that would be the difference in that. So here's my schematic, which I'm utilizing a 9-volt battery in this one. and you see it's going through the V-in on this to power everything. That's going to be the biggest difference. And in the schematic, the big difference between something that I had in the schematic versus my part list is I added a buzzer. When I was asked what modifications, I added that buzzer in because I couldn't think of any additions at the time when I was asked the question. I'm not a very innovative person. I'm more of a doer than a thinker. But these are the possible additions. Thought maybe I could put a LED screen that displays the distance versus using little LEDs that display visually, I guess. I'm not sure. Hope that makes sense. The screen will display letters and words versus just a bulb. That's what I'm saying. Possibly add a buzzer, so it's no longer a silent alarm. And then the other thought was maybe I could have it send a signal to my phone, and it could be like a Bluetooth alarm. But these are all just possibilities. I'm still tinkering around with what I can do to make it slightly different. But these are some of my references, and that is all I have for you guys. Thank you.